Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Film is Okie Dokie. I am Tommy, and with me is...
CJ. Hi. What's up?
Woo! We made it. We are here together again to watch another movie and talk about it before and after. CJ, how you doing?
I'm okay. I've had like a migraine for a while now, so I'm like living with that.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise, nothing else of note has happened for me recently.
Very nice.
Well, that's not true, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Well, how about you? What's going on with you?
Not a whole lot. Been busy, of course, and been trying to corral my two dogs. But other than that, just freaking fantastic.
Do we have a gingivitis update?
Wait, what?
What does your dog have?
Conjunctivitis?
Yeah.
Yes, Duncan had conjunctivitis, but it's all better now. He had eye drops.
Oh, that's your eyes.
Yes.
What did I say?
Gingivitis?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for your gums.
Oh, okay, good. Well,
I mean,
I'm not a dentist.
Good thing. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a good thing you're not a doctor.
Heyo. All right. Yeah, well, that's funny enough. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about today. Something that happened. I have a friend. I can't say who it is. I can't say what they specifically do, but I can tell you that his job required him to listen to medical calls, not for medical purposes. And he was able to share with me a recording. It had contained no client information. It contained no provider information. And it was provided to him on the basis of marketing and research purposes.
Okay.
So, like, when this call may be shared for client and training purposes.
Mm-hmm. There's one of them.
Yes. I listened to this call that my friend sent me. He called me in the middle, clear out of the middle of the day, and was like, "Hey, I need you to listen to this." And I thought somebody had died because he never calls me and never calls me during the workday. So I'm like, I better stop what I'm doing and listen to this. So I am going to do my best to do a representation of the call. Okay,
you're going to recreate it here for us.
Yes.
Do you need me to play any roles?
No, I'm going to play both parts.
Oh, why didn't you send me a script?
I know. Because then it would ruin the fun.
No, you could censor the fun parts.
So it takes like a minute and a half to get to the point where it gets interesting. Like the person picks up the phone.
Okay.
So first person that picks up is a receptionist. This is a receptionist at a doctor's office. And she's like, "Hello," and he's like, "Hey, do you smoke?" What? I'm looking for medical care. Do you smoke? She's like, you're looking for a doctor?" He goes, "Are you a nurse?" She's like, "Yes." He was like, "Oh. No, sorry." She said no. "Oh, you have no medical training at all?" She's like, "No, I'm sort of a Jill of all trades, but I don't have any medical training." He goes, "Are you a fast learner?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think of myself as a fast learner. Are you here trying to call a nurse?" He's like, "You have any lady doctors there?" She's like, "Yes, we have Dr. Emma and Dr. Rachel." And he's like, "You said you're not a nurse, right?" And she's like, "No, I'm not a nurse. You want to talk to a nurse?" He goes, "I want to talk to Dr. Emma." Okay. So then she's like trying to figure out how to figure that out. He's like, it wasn't as gravelly as it was. He's kind of like Buffalo Bill, but I can't do a good Buffalo Bill right now. Like, "So you used to smoke, huh?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, What brands did you used to smoke?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't really have a preference." He goes, "Did you smoke American Spirit?" And she's like, "Yeah, sometimes." He's like, "Did you smoke Newport?" She's like, "Yeah, sometimes. I usually bought whatever was cheapest." He's like, "Good. Would you be interested in a job, $90K a year? You'd have to move to Florida." And she's like, "No, I already have a job." He's like, "You're not interested in making $90K a year, moving to Florida?" And she's like, "What is this for?" And he's like, "I can't discuss that with you, ma'am. That's a private medical opportunity." And she's like, "Okay, well, if you can't discuss it with me, then I'm not interested in working there." So then they transfer, And so he's on hold. He gets transferred to a nurse.
This sounds like he wants to harvest her lungs. Go on.
And so he was like, hey, are you a nurse? And she's like, yes, hi, how can I help you? And he's like, I'm interested in talking to a nurse. She goes, I'm a nurse. He goes, I have a private medical opportunity for you, $90K a year. You have to smoke. And she's like, what? What is this? Are you looking for medical advice? He goes, no, I am a doctor. She's like, you're a doctor? Have you received care at this facility? He's like, no, I'm offering people a job. The $90K a year, but you have to smoke.
What?
And she's like, okay, everyone here is full-time employed and no one here is interested in leaving the job. Are you looking for medical treatment? He goes, no, I'm trying to offer people a job. She goes, okay, and what is this opportunity? He says, I can't, it's a private medical matter, I can't discuss it. And then she goes, you said you're a doctor, right? He goes, that is correct, I'm a doctor in Florida. She goes, okay, can you give me your whatever license number? And he hung up.
Okay.
I think he was trying to hire a sex partner.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know what to make of that call, but it's so out there. I don't know what to make of it.
This reminds me of that movie. Oh, fuck. Who's in it? That movie where someone's like a journalist who reads someone posting a classified ad about time travel or something like that. You know what the movie I'm talking about?
No.
Safety Not Guaranteed, starring Aubrey Plaza and Jake Johnson and Mark Duplass.
There's a good reason I haven't seen that movie.
Why is that? What's the good reason you haven't seen that movie?
All the people that are in it.
You don't like Jake Johnson?
No.
You don't like Aubrey Plaza?
Oh, I like her, yeah.
So why didn't you watch the movie? She's the main person.
Never heard of it before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But no, it reminds me of that where it's just like very mysterious, ominous job offer. Like what? What does this guy expect?
Probably someone who is not a nurse to pretend that they are his nurse, but smoke.
What?
It's the smoking thing I can't get over.
Yeah, that makes no sense. No sense.
Yeah. And he's asking their brands and shit.
Yeah.
Like at some point I was expecting him to just start like jerking off.
So you said about 90 seconds in is when the call got really interesting.
So before that, it was just, please stay on the line and someone will be with you shortly.
Oh, why didn't you do that part?
I wasn't going to do that for 90 seconds.
Well, I needed the full context.
No full context.
Oh my God.
You have it now.
Oh, it's not the same. The story didn't land the same without the full context. And now, it's like just trying to put the cat back in the bag. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it.
Okay. This is very true. This is very true. But still, my point remains. If you in the audience hear this and you have an idea of what he wanted, please let me know.
Yes, let's theorize.
Please theorize. Whew.
Now, this next thing, something I want to theorize on, though, CJ.
Okay, yeah, it took you a minute.
Something I want to theorize on is what the hell an assault at Walmart means, because that's your next note on here.
This is true. Okay, so I got assaulted at Walmart, and
okay. I want to ask, are you okay? But I want to hear the full context first.
I walked away from it.
Okay,
yes, it was an ordeal.
After leaving the other person in a bloody pulp puddle on the ground,
I did not fight back.
Oh,
So I'm at Walmart because I needed something, and none of the other stores had it. And so I needed laundry sanitizer. Do you know laundry sanitizer? Like bleach without bleach in it?
No.
Basically, it's bleach without bleach in it. It's just like a something you put in the washer, like helps like get the germs and bacteria off your clothes. Okay, it's not that complicated. It's not that crazy. It's just whatever. They didn't have it at the 2 grocery stores I went to. So I'm walking up and down the aisles because I'm already here. Might as well see if there's anything here that I can't get at the other stores. Because sometimes that happens. And for a long time, they had my favorite dessert thing. But they don't carry it. I don't even think they make it anymore. But so anyway, I'm walking down the cereal aisle. And I feel like this happens to me all the time. But I'm walking down the aisle. And there's a situation where somebody has parked their cart on one side of the aisle. And they are blocking the other side by standing there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
They've effectively created a wall wherein I can't go past them because they're standing where, like, they've left me no aisle. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I can't go this way. So I'm going to go back the way I came and go around, which brought me into the cereal aisle. Like, because I don't eat cereal. That's how I got to the cereal aisle. And then there's a kid about at the other end of the aisle, and he's standing in the middle of the aisle looking the other way.
Uh-huh.
And I'm talking standing like a star almost. Like arms out and legs out like a star kind of thing. And so I was like, okay. I was like, whatever. So I'm just trying to get to the other side. I don't want to buy cereal. I just want to fucking get out of here, right? Because on the other side is where I want to go so I can go back to the registers, right? So I get halfway through the aisle, and he turns around, and he's looking at me now, but he's still standing kind of like a star. And he kind of has, I don't know, he's like a kid. It's a child, okay? Probably like 7 or 8 years old. And then he puts his arms down at his side, and he's like looking around.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, whatever. So I get closer, and then I'm like, oh, maybe this kid's lost. Maybe this kid's lost. I was like, fuck. Like, I really don't want to deal with a lost kid right now, but like, if he's lost, then like, that's a big deal. He's a little kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I look around the aisle, and I don't see anybody. And so I'm like, okay, so like, I get closer, and then I'm like, hey kid, are you okay? And he doesn't look at me. He's kind of like looking around the room. He's not making eye contact. And I'm like, okay. And so for context, my nephew has autism. So I was starting to see some of the signs. And then I was like, oh, okay. So like I have experience with my godson who can be challenging sometimes. I was like, okay, no problem. So I got closer, and then I was like, hey, are you okay? Do you know where your parents are? And like still nothing, like just like looking around, like, oh, like he was talking to himself. He was like, oh. I'm like, okay. So finally I get a little bit closer, and I put the cart to the side, and I come up to him, and I kind of like crouch down a little bit, and I'm like, hey buddy, are you lost? Like, do you need help? And then he looks down, his eyebrows slant, like he's like a cartoon, like the angry slanted eyes.
Okay.
And that little shit punched me right in the throat.
Hell yeah. Throat
And I was like,
punch.
I was like, so I'm like, what? I said, what the fuck is your problem? and then everyone, there was nobody in the aisle. And then like a minute later, I was like, you little bastard. And then the woman that was blocking the aisle, the next aisle over, comes over, and it's his grandma. And she's like, oh, he just ran off. Sorry, he has autism. I said, he just punched me in the throat. And she looks at me and she doesn't skip a beat. He has autism. And the fucking kid ran away. I'm like, aren't you going to go get him? She goes, nah, he'll just run away again. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
So I was like, I was walking back. The kid punched in my throat.
And you didn't leave him
in
a bloody pulp puddle.
I wasn't gonna beat up no kid. So the first employee I saw, hey, there's a little kid.
He's a child. It'd be the easiest fight of your life. He's a child.
I don't beat up kids, asshole. So I was walking back to the register, and I saw someone folding clothes, and I said, hey, there's a little kid punching people in the throat. And the woman was like, okay. And she walked off, and she said, I don't get paid enough for this fucking shit. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to fucking do. So yeah. By the way, I've never met an autistic child who just randomly punches people in the throat. That doesn't mean they don't exist. I feel like that kid's not putting on for the brand, you know?
Wait, not putting on for the brand? What?
You never heard this?
Nope.
Okay. So like, he's like, you're Italian, right?
Yes.
Okay. So like, if you go to like an Italian pride parade and you make an ass of yourself at the Italian pride parade, you're not putting on for the brand.
Gotcha.
Because you're Italian, you're making an ass out of yourself at the Italian pride parade. You're making Italians look bad.
Gotcha.
Like,
well,
if
wait,
you're-
who would I be looking? It's not like the Italians are going to stand and be like, "Wow, Italians fucking suck."
No, but
There's
the other people that are watching the parade that aren't Italian are like,
there are people who go to parades that aren't involved in the parade.
I've seen lots of straight people watch gay pride parades. Thank you very much.
Why do people watch parades though? Parades
like
fucking
if you're
suck.
like if you're on the rainbow, right, or you're on the spectrum, which are two different things. If you're riding for pride, and then you what they always say things like, oh, the drag queens like are terrible. It's like, yeah, but like, you know, you're the one that diddled the kid, right? They're reading books to the kids, you diddled the kid, but their problem is with the drag queens, right? Well, if a drag queen comes out and diddles a kid, they're not putting on for the brand. I'm not saying that happens. I'm saying if they did, then they're not putting on for the brand.
Gotcha. I get what this.
You're picking up what I'm putting up now?
I'm picking up what you're putting up. Yes.
Yeah. So the kid wasn't putting on for the brand. Like, come on, man. That's not us. I get it. It's hard, man. All that sensory information. It's like fucking. It's probably like acid in your brain. But no one punches people in the throat. Steven Seagal doesn't punch people in the throat, and that guy's a piece of shit, right? I'm just saying. Like, I've met kids that kicked me in the crotch, right? They get it. That's like, why do you go for the throat?
That's the best spot to punch someone is.
My ex used to tell me she worked at a home for kids that had autism plus another condition. So like if they had like Down syndrome and they had autism, or they had like some physical thing and they had autism, like you had to have two things, and it was a boys' home, like 8 to 13, and those kids would, when they were angry with her, she like was there like 12 hours a day, they would go for the heart.
Wait, they would like punch her heart?
No, they try to claw and rip at her chest.
Oh god,
and bite her chest. Yeah, and she said they would do that because that's like the source of warmth or something. She had some reason for it. I was like, God damn. But they also didn't fuck with the guys that worked there the same way that they fucked with the other women that worked there. So I got punched in the throat by a kid, man. He's climbing the mountain.
Wow.
He defied expectations. Very seriously, I do have a lot of room in my heart for people on the spectrum. My nephew is very much afflicted by his autism and makes his life very hard and difficult. But so I don't want anyone to listen to this story and walk away that like, I'm not like, and don't gaslight people and don't lie about this. This is serious. I don't want people to walk away from this and be like, man, CJ's shitting on people with autism. It's like, no, kid that punched me in the throat.
CJ just hates kids.
You motherfucker, you're gonna get me killed.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You're gonna be just fine.
You're hurting me, Tommy. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Gaslighting's not real.
Yeah. All right. So we covered the doctor, the weird, sexy doctor guy, and we covered the assaultination. Assault in
nation.
Yeah, what did I say? Assaultination.
Assaultination?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a word.
Well, look it up. I didn't mean actually look it up.
Assaultination. There's a TikTok, Assaultination. Oh, this is that judge show you like.
No, I don't like the judge show. I like the one chicken thing.
Oh.
Is that the chicken bit?
Stop talking about chicken is the caption, so I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Assaultination. I'm not seeing any Websters.
Well, then I stole it from the chicken guy.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, I actually have been watching a ton of movies lately.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you actually have been kept abreast of my movie watching habits, but it's kind of interesting because I took such a long break. I wasn't watching movies on a regular basis, but I've had a huge migraine for probably like a month now, and it has made playing video games very difficult for me. Just that level of interactivity and the hand-eye or whatever makes it really hard. But like playing a game on my phone or just hanging out on the couch watching a movie, that's a lot easier for me to do, even if my head hurts. And specifically, it's probably not like a traditional migraine. I probably have something going on with my neck, jaw kind of thing. So it's like, it feels like a migraine. It acts like a migraine. It's probably not a traditional migraine because I'm not like sensitive to light at the moment. But so I've been watching a lot of movies. And I'm going to read off all the movies I believe I've watched since the last time that we recorded. Because I think we talked about Dune the last time, right?
Yes.
And
so
to
wait,
me,
you're going to be reading off all the ones you believe you've watched. So what am I supposed to say? Which ones I don't believe you watched? I'm going to say, no, that one wasn't real doubt.
do you think that there are movies in this list that I said that I watched but didn't actually watch?
Oh, most definitely. I think every single one of these you didn't watch, now that I think about it.
Well, fuck off. So did we talk about Burnt the last time?
No.
I forget. Okay.
Burnt?
Yeah, so I'm going to read off all the movies I've watched since the last time we recorded. There's a bunch.
Okay.
Okay, there's Burnt.
Okay.
That is a cooking movie with Bradley Cooper and the guy who plays Baron Zemo.
Daniel Bruhl?
Daniel Bruhl, yes.
Love him.
I love him too. It's a shame that movie was really bad. There's a point in the movie where Bradley Cooper, his character interacts with a lesbian and she's like, "Oh, I'd turn back for you." And it's like, what? American Fiction. Have you seen American Fiction?
Yes.
Loved it.
It was pretty good.
I really liked it. I gave it a 4.
It's pretty
out of
good.
5. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I also thought that I liked the way that it was framed. You know, it kind of it gave it some extra life. The Greatest Beer Run Ever. Have you seen that one?
No.
Actually, pretty good. Zac Efron, I think, is a legitimately decent actor.
Yeah, I would say. I've seen him good in stuff.
He is good in stuff. And if you don't go into this expecting this to be like a great war movie, I think you're going to be really happy.
This is a war movie?
Yeah, it's about him it's based on a true story. A guy goes to Vietnam to bring his friends beer.
Okay.
I was really sad one day watching the Pats. I'm a Patriots fan. So I decided I needed a pick-me-up, and I turned on Schindler's List.
That
really
was
good.
your pick-me-up?
Yeah. Also really sad. Really, really sad movie.
What a pick-me-up.
Yeah, I wanted to watch a good movie, and that I knew that would be a great movie. Very emotional, though. I did cry. Have you seen Schindler's List?
Nope.
All right, well, I recommend it. It's hard to get through, but it's no doubt that it's a really great movie. Apollo 13 with Tom Hanks and Gary Sinise and all the people that play the people in the control room.
I'm surprised you watched this one.
Really? Why?
Because you don't like fiction.
Ah. Yeah, I kind of like that movie, but The Iron Claw. Have you seen The Iron Claw?
I have not seen The Iron Claw.
The Iron Claw, really good movie. Really good. Zac Efron.
Never heard of him.
In that movie. Wow, okay. And the guy that you love from The Bear.
Jeremy Allen White.
Yes, he also is in it. He plays Carrie Von Erich. There's a great episode of Dark Side of the Ring if you want to learn more about the Von Erichs. It is very sad, but very good, very well put together. And The Iron Claw is a very interesting way to tell the story of the Von Erichs through the perspective of Kevin. So, good movie. Imitation Game. Have you seen The Imitation Game?
Yes.
I think it was Jade told me that movie is perfect for planes, and she was so right. That is like a plane movie.
It's a pretty good plane movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's good. It's not like crazy good. I think it was up for Best Picture that year, which
that's
whack.
fucking stupid.
I think it was a weak year in general. I think that was the same year as like The Theory of Everything. But yeah, no, Imitation Game was all right.
I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah, it's all right.
Whiplash. Have you seen Whiplash?
Yeah, I love Whiplash. That's one of my favorites.
I really like that movie.
I've seen that movie many times.
I gave it a 4. I think that J.K. Simmons is really, really entertaining, but I, in general, didn't think... the part that turned me off was like, do we have to have so much blood in a movie about drumming?
Well, it's more than about drumming. It's about the pursuit of being the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, but nobody did. So, anyway...
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, nobody really got great. You know, they were all pretty good.
Did you miss the end of the movie? Like the point of the end?
No. If you deliberately sabotage my band, I will fuck you like a pig. One of the best lines of all time.
Wait. What are you talking about with the ending? What did you mean just no?
No, I saw the ending.
Yeah. The whole point of the movie is like, well, I don't want to spoil, but you know, it's about the pursuit of greatness. It's not just about can drum good. And it's about the sacrifices to get to that point and what you're willing to give up.
Yeah, and he gives up a lot of blood. And
he does. There's a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot of blood. Anyway, Challengers, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
at mine and Jade's recommendation that you watch it.
I did 5 stars.
Yeah, very good.
Anybody should watch that movie.
And the reason why I recommended that is because it reminded me a lot of Whiplash.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
It has like the same ending and same message.
But please, I'm not done. Aaron Brockovich. Have you seen Aaron Brockovich?
No.
Pretty good. If I saw that on TV, I would watch some of it. Anatomy of a Fall.
Great movie.
Man, I don't know how to fucking feel about that movie.
I think you need to say that you were watching this movie on and off while you were watching your favorite baseball team lose the World Series, and you were flipping back and forth between the two. I don't think you can talk about this movie without painting your viewing experience like that.
Okay, real quick. That was really harsh.
It's just, I think there's a bit more context to when you watch this movie.
I'm not even joking. That was a little too far. That was not very nice of you to say.
Why? That you watched your favorite team lose?
Okay, I'm actually being serious right now.
Okay.
And you're really, I mean, I guess we'll leave it in, but you're really rubbing the salt in now.
Well, at least you guys made it. You guys won a league championship.
I don't need your pity, please.
That's not pity. I'm jealous. I wish we could win the NLCS.
All right, so it is important to say that the subtitles on Disney Plus are fucking embarrassing. That is the official subtitles for the movie. It is a movie that switches between English and French, okay? The subtitles on Disney Plus will be like multiple people speaking French. No shit, they're speaking French.
That is so bad.
It's a movie in French.
Cannot believe that's the official subtitle.
And then you told me another way to watch it, which I did, and it took me a while to get the subtitles right. So I ended up watching the beginning 30 minutes of the movie twice, which might have colored it. You know, specifically, I do want to talk about this. Maybe I just don't understand the way that French law works.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like a court procedure at all.
I think, to me, I love that aspect of it, not knowing, because they pull some crazy shit in that courtroom. Like, this doesn't really spoil anything, but one of the characters is an author, and one of the prosecutors was like, well, in her book, a character did this, so that means that she definitely has the motivation in real life. And it's like, that's allowed? That's a legal argument?
Yeah,
this is all hearsay. It was crazy. I loved that aspect of it, just being blown away by what was allowed.
Yeah, there was a part, and I don't think this is a spoiler, where the guy is giving his testimony. He wasn't there. He didn't see anything. He doesn't know them. He's not a expert blood splatter thing. He's not an expert in any particular field. He was an expert in something, but he was allowed to basically be like, this is the only possible way that this could have happened. And I know that to be 100% true. And then the attorney gets up. Were you there? No. Did you see it? No. There's no other possible way this could have happened. This is your opinion. He's like, yes, this is my opinion, that this is the only way it could have happened. And it's like, an American judge would have you thrown in contempt for wasting his time. Also, it felt like the prosecutor was part of the judiciary panel, and he was allowed to just badger the witness and be really nasty, and and I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah.
She did not. She had a lot going against her in that movie.
Yes, she did. And we won't spoil the ending, but it was interesting. You and I, we actually didn't get a chance to talk personally on what we believed, but
no.
I'm interested to talk about that off the podcast.
I will edit this part out real quick.
You know, it'd be really funny if instead of just cutting that out or bleeping it, we put like a waiting music.
I can throw in some elevator music real quick.
Yeah. And then it's like, here, we'll put this in. Thank you for your patience. A member of the Film is Okie Dokie will be with you in 15 seconds. And then we just cut back.
Immediately?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I thought about the movie. I had a good run here because I also watched the Grand Budapest Hotel. Really good. I had no idea what that movie was about at all until I sat down to watch it.
I've
And
seen the movie, and I honestly don't think I could tell you what it's about.
I don't know what it's about really either. It's definitely not the hotel that it's about.
Do you like Wes Anderson movies?
You know, I had never seen one until I saw Asteroid City, and then I was like, yeah, I like this. And then this is the second movie I've ever watched, and I kind of like it. You have to like the style. If you don't like it, you can't do it. But
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, I think Asteroid City might be my favorite movie of his.
Yeah, Asteroid City was really good.
Yeah, very funny. I could not stop laughing when I saw the movie twice in theaters, and both times I could not stop laughing.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
Have not watched that yet.
Oh, I am going to do what I tell you to do all the time. Go and watch the movie.
Oh, you're banging the table for something.
I'm
Okay.
panning the table for the Banshees of Inisherin. Really fucking good. Brendan Gleeson.
I will watch this when I get a chance.
And Colin Farrell have such chemistry, and I really recommend it. If you never saw In Bruges, I also recommend In Bruges. Bull Durham. Have you ever seen Bull Durham?
Nope.
Probably the best baseball movie I've seen.
Better than The Sandlot?
It's up there.
Better than Moneyball?
Okay, Moneyball's not better than Bull Durham. I think Bull Durham and Sandlot are on my Mount Rushmore. I watched Top Gun. Didn't like Top Gun.
Yeah, Top Gun 1 isn't great.
Top Gun, boop. But Top Gun's not about anything. It's just an excuse to listen to Kenny Loggins the whole time.
Did you watch Top Gun Maverick, though?
I didn't watch Top Gun Maverick.
So much better. It's crazy how good Top Gun Maverick is compared to Top Gun.
Bridesmaids I watched, which you also watched.
I watched
recently.
that, yeah. I didn't think it was very good.
I liked it.
I thought it was mad. I didn't think it was very
Call.
funny. Jeez. Wow, just plowing through these before I could get my review in.
Yep.
Wow.
Because I don't care what you have to say about Bridesmaids.
Why?
Because you're wrong.
Wow. Everyone listening, you hear this? You hear how I'm being censored? How I'm not even being given a chance to talk on the podcast?
All right, go ahead.
Just didn't think it was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every scene boils down to, hey, here's 3 separate groups of people having a conversation. 2 of them have nothing to do with the plot. And also they're very clearly just unfunny improv of people just doing gross humor. And it just doesn't land. There's good moments. There are definitely good and funny moments. Like I had big belly laughs at times, but 80% of the movie is just not funny.
That's fair. Margin Call.
Not seen it before you ask.
Really good. Well, not really good. It's just okay. It's a great movie to rewatch, though. And the last movie is Blade Runner.
Great movie. But from what I understand, you did not watch the right version.
I didn't watch the right version, and I think that made me not like it. So I think I have to rewatch the correct version, but I don't know when I'm going to get around to doing that. So for now, it remains a 3. It was just okay. I mean, people have told me it's like one of the best sci-fi films of all time.
I would agree with that.
I can't. I feel like I need to see the other version.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, okay, there you go. Those are all the movies I've seen. That is a lot of movies. I watched those in the span of like 7 days.
Wow. What was the number?
4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Wow. That's a lot of movies in 7 days.
When you can do nothing besides sit on the couch and watch because your head feels like it's getting cracked like a nutcracker, yeah, you find a way. But it was a lot. There was a weekend where you and Jade watched a lot of movies, and I was like trying to match you guys.
Yeah, we watched like 5 or 6 movies, and you were like, I gotta beat them.
I did. I watched 7.
Congrats.
Thanks. Thank you. I deserve it. Speaking of movies, though, what are we watching today?
We're watching Gladiator.
Woo, movie!
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Gladiator. CJ, you have not seen it.
I have not only not seen it. Excuse me. I have not only not seen it, I know nothing about it.
Okay. I saw this movie. I guess I should say for the viewers, the listeners, Gladiator 2 comes out in like 3 weeks. Actually, 2 weeks exactly from the day we are recording this.
It'll have been out for a while for you.
Yes. And I have wanted to watch this movie all year. Rewatch Gladiator, because I watched Gladiator when I was little. Gladiator came out when I was 4. I probably watched it when I was like 5 or 6. And for a movie I watched when I was 5 or 6, I remember a lot of it. I also one of my college roommates threw this movie on one time because he loved it, and he was watching it, and I saw a lot of it in the background, so I had my memory jogged about like 10 years ago. Yeah, no, I remember really liking Gladiator, even though I was like 5 or 6, and I definitely should not have watched it. And I really wanted to rewatch it before watching Gladiator 2. And I think Gladiator is one of the greatest revenge movies ever.
Okay. I didn't even know it was about revenge.
That's all you need to know. It's a revenge movie.
The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is this movie is actually a remake of that, and then they just kept all the original audio, and every time they say the Count of Monte Cristo, they just dub over the word Gladiator instead.
I really believed you for a minute until you got to the dubbing over part.
Wait, what? I'm not joking.
No, you are.
Huh? What am I thinking of then? Oh, I'm thinking of Matthew Broderick's Godzilla.
Oh.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Hmm.
So you know nothing about this movie?
I know literally nothing. I know... This is all I know, okay? For WrestleMania 21, they went to Los Angeles. And so on the DVD and on the way leading up to WrestleMania 21... which is like the first WrestleMania I ever watched, they had vignettes from the wrestlers doing famous movies. So they had like a bunch of people doing the scene from Taxi Driver, right? Or they had a bunch of people doing like, they had The Undertaker doing Dirty Harry. And I think they had Stone Cold doing a speech from Gladiator. The only thing I know is that there's a speech, he's standing in the sand, and there's a guy in a box seat who's looking at him surprised.
Do you know either of the actors who in the roles you just mentioned?
Stone Cold was the Gladiator guy.
Okay, do you know who plays the Gladiator guy?
What, is Russell Crowe in this movie?
Russell Crowe is the Gladiator guy.
Okay.
And
well, then I knew that.
Do you know who the guy in the box is?
Is it, no.
Okay, do you want me to tell you? You 100% know who they are.
I know who they are?
Oh, 100%. Like,
no,
if
let's
you
leave
know
it a surprise.
Okay. You
All right.
know this actor.
I know literally nothing about the movie. You have picked 2 movies where I'm going in completely blind.
Oh, exciting. This is great. This is great.
All right. Do you want to make a prediction for the audience vis-a-vis last time where I took my headphones off?
You know, I don't think I have much of a prediction here. The last one I really wanted to make that I'll still make a prediction. But the last time I really had a prediction make based on everything you were saying in advance and how it applied to the movie we were about to watch. There's not so much discussion to be had about gladiators in advance, I guess.
Ye who are about to die, we salute you.
But here, how about this? Why don't you mute yourself for just a second?
Okay.
Deafen or something?
I should probably deafen, yeah. All right, it's off.
Wait, what?
I took my headset off.
Okay. I think CJ's going to really like this movie. That's my prediction. Okay, CJ, come back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
That was a quick prediction.
I know, because I didn't have much to predict. I just predict whether or not you would like it.
All right. We're watching the theatrical version, right? Not the fucking extended
Not
version?
the extended version. There is, I should say, before we go into the break where you could pause and listen to the movie, watch the movie and listen with us, there is an extended and a theatrical cut of this movie. The theatrical cut is like 2.5 hours. The extended is just under 3 hours. We are watching the theatrical cut today.
Yes.
All right. Well, CJ, do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, then. Well, ladies, gents, and NBs, if you want to listen alongside us, watch the movie with us, then check out the show notes for the link to the commentary track. Otherwise, you can just keep on listening. And I guess if you're going to listen, or we'll do the commentary track, you should pause in 3, 2, 1, now.
Kiss me.
You could have any woman in the fucking city or the damn emperor. Why are you picking your sister? Why do you think no one loves you? You do weird shit.
He's just a horny little freak.
He's a horny little freaker. Like fucking Tominio, dude.
Whoa, you're calling Tominio a horny little freak?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm gonna tell him you said that.
Yeah, do it.
Go and die with honor.
They always say die. People live.
Yeah, but live with honor's so much less cool.
It's fair.
Welcome back. We just watched Gladiator like frickin' a week ago. CJ, how are you?
Isn't it funny that it took us like 10 episodes to get this right? This part right?
I think that it's funny that now we have to address every time that we now get it right.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I like rewarding people when they do the right thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. What's my reward? Was it just the praise?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm sorry. How about a sticker?
What
right.
type of
You can have a Pokemon sticker.
Okay.
Or you can have a Razor sticker.
Ew, no.
Or you can have, what's over there? A different kind of Pokemon sticker.
Okay, I would like to hear what these two Pokemon stickers are.
I have Golem.
Golem, okay.
And
I like Golem.
I have Gengar.
Okay, I like Gengar.
I'm not offering you that one.
What?
I'm not offering you Eevee. Eevee's too cute.
Why'd you what? Eevee's like my second favorite Pokemon.
Is Mew the first?
No. You know my first favorite Pokemon.
It's the tomato one, right?
What? No. Tomato Pokemon. What is the tomato Pokemon? What the fuck is this? Wait. Okay, no, now I'm looking at tomato, the ingredient in Gen 9. What?
Okay,
I don't
hang
see
on.
any tomato
There's
Pokemon.
no tomato Pokemon. Can I want to do a side tangent here. I was talking with a friend the other day because TCG Pocket just recently came out, and it's the game that everybody's playing. And I feel like this happens like...
I'm not playing it.
A lot of people are playing it. It's a popular game. 4 or 5 times a year, there's a game that comes out, and it's like the game that everybody's playing. It's like the game of the global consciousness. Maybe it's like exclusive to your zone, but I remember when everybody was playing Animal Crossing, you know, like I remember when everybody was playing Among Us, you know.
I remember when everyone was playing marbles.
I missed that one. But anyway, I was talking to Matt, our friend Matt.
I remember when everyone was playing stickball.
There you go. Matt opens a pack of cards in the game. They're Pokemon, right? They're Pokemon cards. He goes, "Is Melmetal a real Pokemon?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "But is it really, though?" I said, "Did you just pull a Pokemon card that says Melmetal?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Then it's a real Pokemon. Why would it be in the game if it's not a real Pokemon?" He goes, "I just don't think it's a real Pokemon." What's its dex number? I was like, what? What do you mean, what's its Fine. So I look it up. It's like 809 is its dex number. He goes, yeah, but it's not in like any of the games, so it doesn't seem like a real Pokemon. I'm like, it's in the Pokédex. It has its own Pokemon card. I don't know what else you want me to do. That seems like it meets the definition of being a Pokemon to me, right?
Now, I think I understand where Matt might be coming from in that, like, is any Pokemon past Gen 5 or maybe even Gen 4 really a Pokemon? But just being like questioning the existence of a Pokemon, like, you know, there, of course it might be hashtag not my Pokemon, but it is a Pokemon.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying.
I don't freaking know what he's at.
Yeah, I don't know. That pissed me off. Anyway, we were talking about things that are like, what are the definitions of a thing? And this brings up a good question. I got into like, I don't want to say an argument, but I had a very exhausting conversation with someone the other day about what is...
was it me?
No. Although I do have exhausting
like
conversations with you. We were talking about a box, okay?
Okay.
Let me just start off by asking you to define what is a box.
Okay. I would say it is enclosed on all sides with like a flat base and a closable lid.
Okay.
I think that does most of the work for a definition.
Okay. So I would go as far as to say 99% of the time, if you ask for a box, you're asking about a cardboard box.
Sure.
Right. That's not weird, right?
Sure. It does depend on context, but like if you tell me to picture a box in my head, a cardboard box is what I default to.
So I was told, CJ, can you go get a box out of the garage? I said, does it matter? She goes, no, it doesn't matter. I go to my garage, and we have a bunch of boxes.
Why do I have a feeling it's about to matter?
Oh, well, foresight and all. We'll get to foresight in a little bit. So I come back with a box, and she looks at me, and she goes, well, not that one. And I was like, what's wrong with this one? She says, it's too small for the thing that I'm packing. And I said, oh, what are you packing? She goes, a book. I said, okay, yeah, this is too small for a book. Okay. I go out
Wait. How small was this fucking box that you brought in that was too small for a book? Was it like the size of a phone? Like what?
If we're counting height as the depth, it was a shallow box, which is fine, but it was not very long. Okay.
Okay.
So I go out, I get a longer and slightly wider box. Come back inside. She goes, that's not what I asked for. And I look at her and I'm like, oh, you said it was for a book. Now she's annoyed. Yes, a book. This won't fit a book. I'm like, okay. Well, can I see the book? I don't have it. She goes, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to get it. I'm like, okay, can you tell me where the book is? Just forget it. I'm like, no. This doesn't need to be a fucking thing. You're asking me for a box, okay? So I go out in the garage, and I get 2 different boxes. One is bigger than I think I'll need, but it's deeper now, okay? So it's as long and as wide as the second box I brought in, but now it's deeper. So, like, an extra, like, it's like double the depth. I'm like,
right,
okay.
It's a bigger box.
Anything will fit in this fucking box. Any book will fit in this box. A road atlas would fit in this box. And the other one I bring in is like something you would put a tube television in. It's this massive, one of these big Amazon boxes where you order like 6 things and they all come in one box and the box is too big for the thing you ordered. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I bring both those in. She looks at me like I'm such an asshole and is like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know how big the item is that I need. I don't know what we're packing. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know where it's going. I don't know how big of a box you need. I said, can you estimate how big the box is that you need? And so she pantomimes with her hands how big the box. And I said, I brought you a box like that. So I went in the other room and I got the second box. She goes, not that one. And so then I paused. I said, oh, there's a specific box? She goes, yeah, in the other pile. So now I'm like, oh, okay, these boxes must be in some kind of rough shape or they're getting recycled or something. I need to go to the other pile. Those are the shipping box. Okay. No, and there is another pile in the back of the garage, not near where the boxes were. So I go get a box about that size and I bring it in. And now she's just annoyed and mad and doesn't want to talk. So then I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? So she goes out. She now stops what she's doing. She walks out into the garage, storms past all the boxes. Underneath the box is a wicker thing. It has a lid that is on hinges. It's like a chest, but it's not. And it's wicker material. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Woven somehow out of wood. And she's like, this. And I'm like, why wouldn't you, to describe this item, use the material it was made out of? There's 100 boxes in here. One of them is made out of wood. I was fucking pissed. I'm like, okay, you're gonna ship somebody a box? She goes, no, I'm not shipping it. This is a gift for somebody. I'm giving them.
Wait, the box is the gift?
No, the book goes in the box.
Oh, the box is part of the gift, kind of in terms of the presentation of it?
The box came with something else. We're repurposing the box, which is why it was with the not recycling boxes.
Why weren't you told from the jump to just go get that specific
box? I
box?
don't know. This is like when you're trying to go to dinner with someone and you're like, where do you guys want to go to dinner? Oh, wherever you want to go is fine. Okay, let's go get pizza. I don't want to have pizza. Okay, let's go to tacos. I don't want to have tacos. Okay, what would you like to eat? Oh, anything's fine. If you're listening to me and you're that person, you're not cute, you're not funny, you're the fucking worst, and I hate eating with you.
And you should die.
I didn't say that.
Whoa.
I didn't say that.
Whoa.
Stop trying to get
CJ.
me killed.
Whoa. You're not going to get killed. I don't know why you always say this. You act like there's a SWAT team always aimed at the back of your head waiting for me to say something like, CJ likes to kick children. And then they're like, we got the confirmation.
Yeah, because I think that my death's going to be organized. No, I think that you're going to... Some random, like, internet, like, touch grass case is going to come up to me and, like, put 2 in the back of my head. Because you keep telling people this wild shit like I hate children.
Nah, they're a bigger fish to fry.
I'm a pretty big fish.
Nah, they're a bigger fish.
Ouch. Okay. You don't know what I do in my professional life. I'm a big deal.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I just mean that there are people who are worse than you going around hating women and kicking children.
I don't hate women and I don't kick... All right. I'm not even going to bring up the secret menu thing from today because I'm not in the mood now.
Secret menu?
There was a secret menu thing on the show notes that I wasn't going to tell you about ahead of time.
Ooh,
yeah, but now you fucked it. Now
wow.
yeah.
You hear that, audience? Take this moment in. This is CJ directly denying content from you, just out of spite.
You pig dog. You fucking swine. Why? I thought we were in this together.
I'm just making a passive observation.
I can hear you smiling over the microphone right now.
Nope. I have the biggest frown on my face. I am so upset, just like the audience, that they are being denied content.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is for content.
Okay.
I was going to ask you what your biggest pet peeves about me on the podcast are, but we're not doing that now. I'm going to tell you what my biggest pet peeves about you are on the podcast now.
Ooh, I'm ready for this.
Okay. So, first, I'm going to give a compliment sandwich.
This is about to be one of those sandwiches that's like a loaf of bread, 50 layers of meat, and then another loaf of bread.
That is my preferred method of sandwich, but it's okay. That's the Primonti Bros way. Shout out to Primonti Bros.
Are you going to recommend Primonti Bros at the end of the episode?
Maybe I will. Maybe I fucking will.
Maybe.
All right.
All right.
What was that pizza place we went to?
We went to Minio's or Aiello's. I think it was Minio's.
Tominios?
No, not Tominios. Oh, fuck. He just slapped his feet around. Oh, God.
All right.
His brow is so furrowed. He's still so mad. Oh, he just,
compliment.
Okay.
Compliment. You don't produce me as much as you used to. I like that.
You know who else was a producer?
Who?
Ridley Scott. And today we are talking about... Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Don't do that. Don't produce me. So you word better about that. You gaslight the shit out of me, and you do it so brazenly, and you mix it in with truths that you make me seem like a chronic liar and a horrible person.
And this is part of the compliment part?
No, we're in the shit sandwich part now. This is the...
Oh no, you're just describing our friendship.
I don't think the tenets of our friendship...
CJ, I don't gaslight you. Gaslighting's not real.
You're the worst when it comes to that.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Also, something you do is like, I will react to something like, I'm not going to say emotionally. I respond to something very animated. And you do this thing, which actually drives me crazy sometimes, where you kind of go monotone on me. And you just calmly explain your position, and then you stop talking to me about it.
Get fucked.
So, for example, we were talking about... This isn't a spoiler. We and you were talking last night with some friends about going to a game while we're at GDQ.
Yeah.
Which will have long passed since this came out.
Hold on a second. I thought these were complaints about the podcast.
You do this on the podcast, too.
No, you're bringing in outside stuff
you
now.
You do this on the podcast.
Into CJ venting about our friendship.
No. You do this on the podcast, too. But I'm bringing in a recent example.
Okay, I'm listening.
So we were talking about this more thing, and I was like, oh, why don't we go... I don't remember the dates. Why don't we go Sunday? And you're like, I can't do it Sunday because I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, oh, why don't we go Thursday? And you said, I can't do Thursday because I have this. And I was like, oh, goddamn. Okay, what if we did Tuesday? And you were like, I can't do Tuesday because I have to do this. And I then was like, God damn it. I thought we were going to have CJ and Tommy time. I thought we were having carved out time for that. So, whatever. And I'm being animated, right? And this is important because what you did then, what you do a lot is, DJ, speedrunning is very important for my career, and I take it very seriously. And these are commitments that I have to honor to advance my career. Speedrunning is very important to my job, and content creation, it's all part and parcel. And I was like, oh, well, all the subscribers are gonna get. And you're like, it's not about just subscribers, and that's not the only aspect of content creation. I said, oh, because I don't know anything about content creation. You're like, I didn't say that. See, you know about content creation, so you know. And then you dropped it, and I didn't feed into me anymore, and that was it.
I would say that was like 85% of the way there.
Okay, what did I miss?
No, it's not. I don't think you missed it. I think the vibe you nailed. I just think the exact script of everything that was said, it was just the general vibe. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was the
there.
feeling of what was said, but not the actual physical words that were said. I'll admit that.
And what's the compliment at the end of this?
He's doing it to me now. The compliment is that you're my best friend and I love you.
So I just want to get this straight. The first compliment you gave me, honestly, it wasn't even a compliment. It was,
you don't produce me anymore.
No. That is like saying, hey, you used to piss me off by doing this, and now you just piss me off less. And then the last compliment is saying a fact that I've known because we've talked about it multiple times. Where are my 2 goddamn compliments? I am owed 2 goddamn compliments in addition to a Pokemon sticker that we never settled on.
That's true. You can have Froakie.
Who the fuck is Froakie?
Okay.
That's not a Pokemon.
Yeah, shut up. How about Lillipup?
Who?
What is your favorite Pokemon?
It's fucking Sandshrew.
Oh, yeah, I have a Sandshrew one. You want one?
What? Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, your 2 actual compliments. A lot of people look really weird without their glasses, and
this has to do with the podcast?
Yeah. Okay, compliments about your podcast. You bring really good notes. You prepare and make really good notes, and to the point where I almost feel inadequate with my preparation, which is really cool.
I love making you feel inadequate.
I like how much you care. And then your second compliment is that most people look weird without their glasses, and you don't.
I don't know what that says towards my ability on this show, but I'll take it.
If it was a video podcast, people could agree with me.
I'll take it, I guess.
You're so fucking disappointed.
I am.
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed about losing you on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, so... Yeah.
Sometimes the cookie crumbles in that exact pattern.
No, we're just gonna have to drink afterwards is all.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I heard there's a whiskey bar I want to try while we're out there. We didn't go because it was really late and really cold.
A what?
A whiskey bar.
What is this?
It sells whiskey.
Okay.
It's a bar that sells whiskey.
Okay, and?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Failing to grasp the concept.
You fucking asshole. I don't know. What do you mean you don't understand the concept?
So you're telling me that you go inside, you walk up to the bar,
yeah,
you say, I'll have a whiskey, and they likely say, which one? We got a lot of them. That's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
And then you try some maybe, you order a whiskey, you have it, you pay, you leave a tip, and you leave?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Here's a question for you. So you do your, like, Tomato Anus universe characters, right?
Sure.
The ones in front that do your ads.
Sure. Well, I mean, I pay them through an agency to act out the scripts that I write for my ads.
Sorry,
yes,
that's true. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. By the way, you really, really, probably the best ads that I've seen for speedrun content.
Thank you. Well, wait, hold on. For speedrun content, that's a small sphere.
You're in the top 10% for ads I've seen for YouTube content creators.
Wow, just for YouTube content creators, not period?
You're in the top 15% for period advertising things I've seen.
Well, 15 isn't very impressive.
God damn it. I was going to ask you, what Tomato Anus character do you think that I am most like?
Chicago guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's a good character.
Are you eating something?
No.
All right, what are you drinking then?
I'm eating Junior Mints.
See, I've told you, I can tell. I can tell when you're eating something. You're always like, I don't make noises. I'm like, I can just tell by the way you talk. You eat. I can tell.
All right, I swallowed the last one, okay?
I swear to God, CJ, if later on, I swear to God.
They're all gone.
Okay.
I don't have any more Junior Mints. Okay.
Okay, and you better not break out Swedish fish later.
Okay, I promise I won't eat Swedish fish later.
All right, everyone, write down what freaking snack you think CJ's gonna be busting out.
I don't have any other snacks on my desk. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this. Is a good kind of entryway into what we're about to talk about. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but it's sort of something of like local legend or lore amongst my friends. They call me CJ Damas after Nostradamus, right?
Okay, hold on. That's what this is supposed to be?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna correct your spelling real quick. There you go.
I don't spell it that way. They spell it that way.
Oh my god, why do they spell it that way?
I don't know. I didn't name myself.
Mm.
Okay, so basically, and if you've listened to the companion audio tracks or you've heard some of the podcasts, you'll notice like I have like a sixth sense for story beats and for like dialogue. A good example, the Batman, when he says I am vengeance, I said that like a minute early. This movie that we watched, are you not entertained? I didn't know that was in this movie. I did not know that. I also am pretty good about predicting how video games end. I watch a couple friends play games on stream, and I'm pretty notorious, especially with visual novels, of like predicting how they're gonna end. I would guess like who would die in Danganronpa and get it right. I predicted the twist in Persona 4 after the first day, months and months in advance. I don't cheat. I don't look it up. I just am like, this feels narratively specific, right? It's easier with stuff that's better written. Well, I don't want to say well written. The more competently it is written, the more predictable it's written, I guess. The easier it is to predict. If something's really bad, it's hard to, like, I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. It's harder to predict stuff. Especially, like, games that are just really long visual novels, like, or like Ace Attorney games where you're guessing what happened or who did what. I have a really impressive track record on predicting what's going to happen. And I feel like when we've been watching movies lately, you're like, all right, who's going to die and who's going to live?
No, I usually say about halfway through the movie, all right, we're about halfway through the movie, CJ, what's going to happen?
Yeah. I feel like I get it pretty right.
I think that you have a pretty good success rate. I think where your true knack lies is with guessing what lines are going to come. I think that's the true knack. You do hit a lot of story beats, but I do have to say, I think CJ Damas is a pretty good title because you do put out a lot of predictions. There are a lot that are true, but you also put out a lot that aren't.
Everybody's going to have their 2012.
Oh my God, that's a quote.
Everyone's going to have that, you know? Man, you know what? This is not related to CJ Damas. I was the class of 2012. And our class slogan was "It ends with us." Pretty good slogan for a class, gotta be honest.
That's a pretty good one. I don't even remember my class slogan, if I'm being honest. I don't know if
it
we
wasn't
even had
for
one.
the fact that it was 2012, I wouldn't remember it. I was like, damn, I'm gonna graduate and then the world's gonna end.
Damn, the world's gonna end 7 months later.
Yeah, then we saw the movie. Do you remember the movie?
The movie 2012?
Yeah, you never saw the movie?
No, I do remember it.
Yeah.
It ends with them like on a mountain in Tibet or something, or in China somewhere.
But they were in Africa.
Oh, maybe they were. And like there's the giant wave coming and they're all getting into the giant ship, right?
Yeah. John Cusack.
Yeah.
Chiwetel
Ejiofor.
I was close.
Okay. So CJ Damas.
CJ Damas. I feel like I did pretty good for the end of Gladiator.
I'd say that this was relatively a thumbs up CJ Damas performance.
Okay, I like that. As we transition into the movie we watched, Gladiator.
Yes. So CJ, you had never seen Gladiator. You didn't even know who was in it when we began watching.
No, I didn't know.
What do you have to say as like for how you liked it?
These movies have a ceiling on them, and
when you say these movies, what do you mean?
I'm gonna build on it. So movies like this, these big blockbuster, like I don't know when this movie came out. If this movie didn't come out in the summer, I don't know what we're doing. Big movies, big action, big budget movies, right? These movies inherently have a ceiling on them that they cannot overreach. They cannot summit. They cannot get past it. And for me, that is the 3-star mark. In general, these movies have a really hard time getting over the hill. Not because they're not pretty, not because they're not really like well put together, not for any technical reason. It's just, it feels like it's missing some of the things that would elevate it to a higher level. And maybe that's because you can't buy yourself a soul.
Real quick, I just have to ask for context. When you say 3-star mark, are you referring to like 3 out of 4 stars, like the traditional movie rating scale, or like
I do
Letterboxd?
5. I do 5.
Okay, so like the Letterboxd rating scale?
Yeah, I would say maybe like a 3.5. Like, it really has a hard ceiling. And it's because I think that these are vehicles to consume popcorn, sell tickets, and sell, VHS tapes. You know what I mean? Like, this movie did all of that. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm very curious when it actually came out.
It came out on May 5th, 2000. Budget of $103 million, and it grossed $465 million.
Yeah, so big budget, right? Hans Zimmer, Ridley Scott, Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix and Richard Harris. Can't forget my man Richard Harris. I'm sure that'll come up later. But, like, it's just, they have a ceiling to them, right? What is the movie actually trying to... Does it have a thing that it wants to say? No, it's a revenge story, which is good. It's a good story. It's good. Does it have some magnificent acting performance? They're good. I think that they're I've seen better from both, I think. Russell Crowe is Russell Crowe in every movie he plays. He doesn't feel distinct in the role as Maximus, right? He just feels like Russell Crowe.
Can I ask what other movies you've seen Russell Crowe in that you feel this way about him?
Isn't he Australian?
He's actually a Kiwi, and I'm sure he'd be very offended of you to assume he was Australian.
Okay, that's fair. Was he in LA Confidential?
Yep.
Okay. He was in Master and Commander.
Yeah. You've seen these movies?
I've never seen Master and Commander. I did see
Okay.
LA Confidential. He was in Cinderella Man, which I never saw.
I guess what I'm asking is, like, what Russell Crowe movies have you seen that you feel like he gives a similar performance in?
American Gangster. I felt like he was the same guy.
Okay.
Maybe they have different motivations, but the performance feels the same because his voice feels the same and his presence feels the same. His hair looks the same.
Hold on, you're trying to tell me that Russell Crowe has a Roman haircut in American Gangster?
Yes, he does.
Actually?
No.
Oh, I was about to look at American Gangster. Now I'm just
I
curious.
feel like he just looks the same in every movie.
Oh my God, he looks so different in American Gangster.
Hang on, I gotta look it up now.
Oh my God, he looks so different.
Hang
His hair
on.
looks like mine in that movie.
Hang on. That's what your hair looks like? Yeah, it does.
And he's clean shaven. He looks like a different person.
All right, maybe I take that back. I still feel like all of his performance feels samey.
Okay. Maybe you just haven't seen a Russell, and I'm not sitting here to defend Russell Crowe. I haven't seen a whole lot of his movies. I've seen a handful. But like maybe you just haven't seen a performance where you're like, wow, I saw the role and not Russell Crowe in it.
Yeah. Like, Russell Crowe was one of the last couple actors where you're like, I'm going to go buy this ticket to see the new Russell Crowe movie. I had that experience, actually. I wanted to mention this to you the other day. I had that experience where after watching Challengers, was like, what else has Zendaya put out? Like, I want to see the next Zendaya movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my motivation for watching Dune so fast in quick succession was because I like her as an actress.
Interesting.
But you don't go to the box office and be like, oh, there's a new Ryan Reynolds movie come out. I gotta go see the new Ryan Reynolds movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think you just picked a bad example because I do know people like that. My brother-in-law was like, oh yeah, I'll go see Deadpool. This guy has not seen any MCU stuff. He's like, yeah, I'll see Deadpool and Wolverine. That seems fun. I like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
All right. So I like it. I went in thinking that it would have a ceiling. It brushed up against the ceiling, but it did not break through. It is perfectly good.
Okay. So you said the ceiling is like 3.5?
I mean, to get above a 3.5 for me, it has to be either personally relevant to me or really speak to me or have to be be above and beyond a normal, like 4 is like really good. I'm not saying 3 is bad. 2 is like, yeah, you should go see this movie. This movie is not a waste of your time.
Interesting. Then may I submit something into evidence?
Okay.
I just sent it.
I don't like this.
Could you please comment on that?
Oh, all right. You're calling me out. You just sent me a screenshot of a review that I wrote of a 4-star review for Gladiator.
Yes.
In which case, what did I like about Gladiator? I did not know that it was Joaquin Phoenix. That helped.
That helped?
Yeah, because
Do
he
you
got
not like
lost in the
Joaquin
role.
Phoenix?
I did instantly recognize Richard Harris.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Wait, so what do you have something against Joaquin Phoenix?
No,
That it
I'm
was
saying
like-
he got lost in the role,
Okay,
like you were talking about.
gotcha.
All right, I'm going to say that the ceiling for this movie is a 4. It did break through the ceiling. I just don't remember why. Are you happy? You made me look like a fool to the audience.
I didn't do anything.
You could have left well enough
I didn't
alone.
do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I'm just playing the role that I'm here to play, CJ.
All right, what did you think about Gladiator?
I thought it, first off, crazy. I saw this movie when I was like 5 or 6 originally, because
Yeah.
this movie is so violent and so much dismemberment. But I thought it was really good. I think that it's a really simple story that's told really well. And I disagree with you about the performances. I think the performances are what saves this movie. I think that the writing itself is generally, it's all right, but I think that like Russell Crowe is incredible as Maximus. I think that Joaquin Phoenix is incredible as Commodus, and I think that the entire cast from top to bottom like really throw their weight around and really make the material land. When I feel like imagining some other actors reading some of the lines, I feel like, you know, I think that these actors, this cast in particular, did a good job of selling the script and these characters and their motivations and where they're at.
I guess I just didn't resonate with Russell Crowe because I kind of agree with that. Like everybody else was really good. And I don't know.
I think Russell Crowe had some great moments. We can call them out later. You know, maybe Russell Crowe's just that guy who you hate.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
With his stupid haircut.
I mean, most of the dudes in this movie had that stupid haircut too. It's a pretty stupid haircut.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
The action in this movie is really fun, entertaining. I think that generally it's paced pretty well, and I think it has a really fulfilling climax and ending. And I think just all around, it's a really solid movie. I think that this is inoffensive in a lot of ways, in that like I could feel like I could show this to most people, and as long as they like don't hate violence, they'll generally like this movie. This feels like a pretty mass appealing, just successful blockbuster epic.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Well, with that being said, should we get into recapping the movie?
Yeah, take it away.
All right. Okay.
I'm starting a timer.
Russell Crowe in this movie is Maximus. I'll just call him Russell Crowe. He is a Roman general, and he leads the Roman army, and it opens where they are battling against barbarians in Germania. And Joaquin Phoenix shows up. He's playing Commodus. He shows up after this battle in Germania that Russell Crowe led his men to victory. And Joaquin Phoenix is the son of the Roman emperor, who is Richard Harris, Dumbledore. More or less, this movie is kind of, it's slobs versus snobs in a way. You know, it's like Russell Crowe's this like, you know, he's a bit of an everyman, and he's like a bit more relatable than the other side. And then the other side is Joaquin Phoenix, and he's this like pretentious dude who, you know, silver spoon in his mouth. So that's kind of the setup for this movie, is slobs versus snobs. Russell Crowe's like, you know, he's a farmer and he wants to get home after the war to his wife and son. Joaquin Phoenix has all this training but doesn't see battle. He's kind of a brat. Anyway, that night at this war camp, Dumbledore, the Roman emperor, he pulls Russell Crowe aside and is like, hey, I'm dying. My son, Joaquin Phoenix, I think he's going to be corrupted by politics. I don't think you'll be corrupted by politics, though, because you're like a humble dude. I'm going to resign and make you the emperor so that you can restore Rome to a republic rather than be ruled by an emperor. And Russell Crowe's like, all right, if you say so. I'm not too sure, whatever you say. And later that night, when Dumbledore tells Joaquin Phoenix about this, Joaquin Phoenix gets real mad and kills Dumbledore. And then Russell Crowe's woken up and he's brought to Joaquin Phoenix, who is now the new emperor. And Joaquin Phoenix is like, yo, you got to be loyal to me. Will you like bend your knee more or less? I'm the emperor now. And Russell Crowe kind of immediately realizes like, oh shit, he killed his dad. He killed Dumbledore, and he goes to leave, but he's then captured by some of Joaquin Phoenix's like guards and some like army dudes, and he's taken into custody and ridden out to be executed. And he's told that his family is going to die too. So Russell Crowe's out in the woods with like the Praetorian Guard, and he just absolutely demolishes these dudes. He starts off, I think, like hands tied, and he's able to fully just destroy them for the most part with his hands tied. And then he ends up riding home, and he finds his wife and son were invited to a barbecue while he was gone, and there was a propane incident, and they're just burnt to a crisp, so he buries them. And while he's sleeping at their graves, some slavers come by and nab him, and they sell him to a gladiator trainer named Proximo. And here he makes friends with some other slaves who are gladiatorial combatants, including Djimon Hounsou, who plays a guy named Juba, but Djimon Hounsou, the guy from like the Guardians opening scene, Guardians of the Galaxy, and also like this huge Arnold Schwarzenegger type guy. But he makes friends with Djimon Hounsou, and like they do a fight where they're handcuffed together. At the same time, Joaquin Phoenix gets back to Rome, and it's kind of a cold reception. He meets with the Senate. It doesn't go well, and he's kind of like scoffing at his responsibilities. But he decides that he's going to do 150 days of Colosseum games to win over the Roman populace, since they love violence. CJ, is this movie a commentary on violence for entertainment?
Ugh.
So at the same time as the Colosseum games are starting, good old Rusty Crowe, he's developed a bit of a name for himself as a gladiator in these fighting pits. Everyone calls him the Spaniard, since he's from Hispania. He talks with Proximo, his trainer and owner, after one of the fights, and Proximo tells him that they are going to the Colosseum. Proximo also talks about how he used to be a gladiator there, and he tells Russell Crowe that if he wants to win his freedom, he has to win the crowd, because if you win the crowd, you will win your freedom. There's a few scenes where Joaquin Phoenix is like trying to sleep with his sister. His sister's a factor in this whole thing. She's played by Connie Nielsen. She and Russell Crowe used to have history. Connie Nielsen has a son named Lucius, and at one point, Russell Crowe is like, in a cage in Rome with all these other gladiators, and Lucius runs up to him, and essentially Russell Crowe's like realizes, oh, Connie Nielsen is around, I need to kind of hide. So we get to the first battle sequence in the Colosseum, and Russell Crowe wears a helmet so he won't be recognized. They're reenacting a Carthaginian battle, supposed to get slaughtered, but Russell Crowe's able to lead the other gladiators, and they work together, survive the fight, kill all the guys who were supposed to win the fight. And then Joaquin Phoenix is like, yo, the Spaniard dude is pretty dope. Let me go down and meet him. And he goes down into the middle of the Colosseum. Lucius, the little boy, comes with, just so that Russell Crowe doesn't try and kill Joaquin Phoenix. And Russell Crowe reveals who he is with like this super famous speech that ends with like, I will have my vengeance in this life and the next. Connie Nielsen is also surprised that it is Russell Crowe, and the crowd is all chanting for Russell Crowe to live because they liked him, and Joaquin Phoenix allows him to live solely because of the crowd, but he does want Russell Crowe dead. Later on, Joaquin Phoenix is like, why is the guy still alive? He was supposed to be killed that night. He's talking to Connie Nielsen, and then Connie Nielsen goes and visits Russell Crowe, and he's upset with her because his family died. They used to be an item. She offers to help him, but he refuses. And the next big fight is against Tigris of Gaul, who's like this huge, popular, strong gladiator. He's like the most famous and revered gladiator. And it's a bit of an ambush for Russell Crowe because there's also tigers in the arena. He's able to eventually get an upper hand and disarm Tigris, with Tigris laying on the ground. And Joaquin Phoenix gives the go-ahead, like thumbs down, to kill Tigris, and Russell Crowe refuses out of spite. And then everyone starts chanting that he's Maximus the Merciful. And he's like developed, he's now this super popular gladiator. He's won over the crowd. So Joaquin Phoenix comes down to the ring, the Colosseum, and just talks shit to Russell Crowe about his dead family to try and goad him into attacking him, because it'll just look like to everyone else that this gladiator's killing the emperor, which would be bad for him. Russell Crowe refuses to attack him and just walks away. So Joaquin Phoenix just mauls about how Russell Crowe is so popular and how he doesn't want to kill him because that'll make him a martyr. So at this time, he also decides that he wants every senator to be followed because he thinks that there's some scheming going on. At around this time, Russell Crowe sees and reunites with his former servant, Cicero. And Cicero tells him that all of his former soldiers would be loyal if they knew he were alive. And Cicero spots and is able to arrange a meeting with Connie Nielsen, as well as a senator named Gracchus, who's not super important. And also Russell Crowe is there. And they make this plan to sneak Russell Crowe out of the city to his army. And then he will come back with the army to Rome and overthrow Joaquin Phoenix and then instill the Senate to be in charge of Rome. But shortly after this, the Praetorian Guard shows up and arrests the senator, like after this meeting. So Connie Nielsen then shows up back to Maximus and talks about how she used to love him and how her father loves Russell Crowe and not Joaquin Phoenix. They kiss. It's just the love story that's in this. It's not too important. Lucius and Joaquin Phoenix are then like talking and playing sword fight. And Lucius kind of, he talks about how he's fighting as Maximus, the savior of Rome. And like he kind of spills the beans on the fact that there's this plan to get Maximus Russell Crowe out of the city to liberate Rome. And when Connie Nielsen shows up, Joaquin Phoenix lets her know that he knows about the conspiracy and threatens her over it. So after this, the Praetorian Guard all show up at the Gladiator barracks to try and stop this plan of Russell Crowe escaping. Proximo, the Gladiator trainer and owner, he frees Russell Crowe, and by proxy, all the other gladiators are released and they all fight and stall the guards so Russell Crowe can escape. And Proximo and the Arnold Schwarzenegger dude, they're killed by the guards. And Russell Crowe goes to rendezvous with Cicero, but that's a trap. Cicero gets killed and Russell Crowe is captured. And then at the same time, we're also learning Joaquin Phoenix wants to get his sister pregnant. This is all going on at the same time. But this brings us then to the Colosseum for the final fight, where Joaquin Phoenix wants to fight Russell Crowe and is going to fight him one-on-one in an effort to win the people of this city back onto his side. And while Russell Crowe is chained up before the fight, Joaquin Phoenix stabs him in the side, so he has to fight injured. They're raised up into the arena and they fight and they go back and forth a bit. They deal some chip damage to each other. At certain moments, Joaquin Phoenix is like, he's disarmed. And he's like, guard, sword. But the guard, they're not helping him. Oh my gosh, they're kind of on Maximus's side. And Russell Crowe, like, while he's fighting, he's like bleeding out from the wound. And he's kind of like going in and out of the afterlife during this. Like he's in and out of reality and snapping back and forth between the Colosseum and Elysium, approaching his homestead and his family. Because there's some talk about Elysium throughout the movie and the Roman afterlife. At one point, he's able to stab Joaquin Phoenix in the throat after forcing like a shiv into his throat in an embrace. And then Russell Crowe is just like standing there over Joaquin Phoenix's dead body. And like Russell Crowe is like dying in this moment, snapping, coming to in and out of the afterlife. And like you can see the look on his face as he's snapping back into reality multiple times. And he shares with a senator what Dumbledore's final wishes and wants were about like transitioning to a Senate-ran republic. And he gets all of this transition of power information out before then collapsing dead in the Colosseum. And we see him reunite with his family in Elysium. Connie Nielsen gives a brief eulogy, and Russell Crowe's body is carried out of the Colosseum by the guard and the senator, while Joaquin Phoenix is just left dead on the ground in the Colosseum. And then the final scene of the movie is Djimon Hounsou burying some small figurines of Russell Crowe and his family in the Colosseum. And then the credits roll.
You did a pretty good job.
Thank you. I actually changed tact this time.
Tact, okay.
So usually when we do this and I recap the movies, what I'll do is the day that we're recording the post game, like today, I'll usually pull up the movie and I skim it and I just take notes. This time, I typed up a summary while we were watching it.
Okay.
Pretty cool, right?
That is pretty cool.
I'm not sure if I'll do it again in the future, but I did like it.
There you go. Very nice.
Thank you. And how long was it? You said you were going to time it?
11 minutes and 31 seconds.
I think that's pretty good for recapping a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, you did a pretty good job.
Thank you. I will bow and I will cede my time to you for talking a bit more in depthly on like how you like this movie, spoilers and all.
Gotta be honest with you. I really feel like, and I said this yesterday to somebody else, but this movie does what it says on the tin. You think you're going to see gladiators? You fucking get gladiators. There's more than enough gladiator combat. There's like 3 or 4 big gladiator things.
Yeah, I would say at least 3 or 4.
Because there's the one before they get to Rome.
Yeah, well, first off, I know it's not gladiator stuff, but we have like an opening war battle scene.
Yeah.
Which gets you right into it. We have him versus the Praetorian guards in the woods. Then, yeah, we have the one with him and Jamon Hansu chained together. I think we have like another one even before we get to Rome. And then we have like 3 in Rome. On my hands, I'm counting to like 7 or 8 right now.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really cool because so many movies these days do not deliver what they promise. Mm-hmm. They show you the one cool thing in the trailer and that's it. I don't know what they showed in the trailer for this movie, but they could not have shown you everything because there's a lot of gladiator shit in this movie. I thought the actual set of the Colosseum was really cool. I felt that everything kind of felt old-timey and, suitably Roman. Not that I'm an expert. It felt appropriate, and because everything kind of felt right, I really don't have too much to say about it. It kind of did exactly what I thought it was going to do, and maybe a little more.
You know what you said reminds me of, and it's not quite, but it's close enough, and I just love bringing this thing up whenever I get a chance. Have you ever heard about Surf Dracula?
No.
It's a really famous tweet that I feel like captures the current streaming landscape a lot. I'm going to read this tweet to you.
Okay.
Back in the day, if you did a TV show called Surf Dracula, you'd see that fool surfing every week in new adventures. But in the streaming era, the entire first season got to be a long-ass flashback to how he got the surfboard until you finally get to see him surf for 5 minutes in the finale.
Yeah. Like, if this were a miniseries, that's my biggest fear about Gladiator 2. If we don't get to be in the Colosseum, this isn't it, Jack. Mm-hmm. This ain't it. This movie works because it puts all that violence in your face. There's lots of iconic type moments, blockbuster type moments. The guy with the blood coming out of the mask.
Yeah, what a great visual.
That was so great. Are you not entertained?
Every beheading.
Yeah.
The woman getting cut in half by the giant,
rough. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that one was almost too much. That was a lot. But yeah, so do you have any in-depth thoughts? I mean, I feel a little starved for notes here a little bit.
I mean, I think that you put it well when you said this movie does what it says on the tin. Because it's when you have an action movie like this, you have these set pieces that it might not be what you build around, but they're the cornerstones of a good action movie are the actual action sequences. And this movie, like we said, it has no shortage of them for its long runtime. And this movie does a really good job of giving you something to care about while waiting for the next action scene. It is enough of a hook and you have enough investment to be like, fuck yeah, I'm with this Maximus dude. Fuck that incest wanting, creepy elite in Joaquin Phoenix. Fuck that guy. I want to see Maximus cut his dick off and shove it in his mouth. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly what you kept saying during the movie. And I was like, CJ, calm down a little bit with the rhetoric. And then you just kept escalating.
The rhetoric, yeah.
So it's just, like I said, kind of in my initial thoughts was like, it's just a good crowd pleaser movie. Like, I don't think it really fails anywhere. Like I said, I think the writing is on the weaker side, but it's high enough of a concept plot-wise to be easy to buy into. You don't need to load on a bunch of details that are important to the plot. With the Batman, my recap was probably 3 times as long because that movie being a mystery, it by nature has a long meandering trail to arrive at the conclusion and learn all of the information. This movie, we have the setup. I mean, it does take its time with the setup. It's not like we get the opening action scene and his family is dead by minute 10. It's probably 30, 40 minutes in, but it still is a simple enough setup where it's his family's dead. He wants to get revenge. He's got to win gladiator fights to have an opportunity to get revenge. it's simple enough to where it's easy to buy into. I'm sure this movie, if it weren't, and I don't know what type of global release this movie had. American produced movies do well in China when they're more spectacle based and more, like the Fast and Furious movies are really popular over there because they're less plot oriented and more like fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that plays well to an audience in China because it's really hard to translate and localize movies. So movies from other countries that are, less focused on the plot and nitty gritty details perform better because it appeals to a wider audience. And I feel like this movie, if it released in China, I would have guessed it did pretty well. Or like if it released there today, I think it would do well because it's a simple story, but like we said, like we keep saying, it does it pretty well. And the performances, like Russell Crowe, I guess let's just jump into it with like talking about specific things.
Before we get too far away,
yeah,
you were talking about China. This movie did release in China.
Okay.
It made $3.3 million.
Wow, that's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot. The film did about $272 million internationally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I stand corrected on how it would perform there, but I
think your point about it being released today, maybe it had a limited release in China. Could have been.
But like I think my point stands in that it doesn't take a lot to buy into the plot.
Yeah.
It all gels together pretty nicely. I think that the parts where this movie struggles, again, the writing, I think the pacing is just a little clunky, like kind of back end of the middle. Other than that, it's well shot. I love the locations that they shot at. Beautiful landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just overall an entertaining ass movie. But something I wanted to talk about, like with the acting that I guess we can get into, is I think there are so many great little moments in the opening scene. It's I think the very opening of the movie, Russell Crowe is like on this battlefield and there's this like bird that lands on a branch next to him, and like you see him kind of admire it, like almost like kind of thinking about his son and smile, and then the bird flutters away, and like you see him kind of readjust back to the situation he's at in this battlefield leading these people. Like, he was just like able to escape it for a moment. And like you can just tell that all by Russell Crowe's facial expressions, or like when Maximus is revealed to be alive, Joaquin Phoenix, like just you can tell how upset he is just visually. Like the lip tremble from Joaquin Phoenix is so perfect. It's not too over the top or anything.
He does do a really good lip tremble.
Yeah, and it's really believable because it's not like he's over there just blubbering,
Mm-hmm.
Connie Nielsen, like when Joaquin Phoenix is like, I think he's trying to get her to say that she loves him, and like her saying that just reluctantly to kind of get through the conversation, like you can tell the pain she feels. And then like Joaquin Phoenix and Connie Nielsen, when he's threatening her about the whole conspiracy near the end, like what a great scene that's just carried by the performances. And then at the end, when Russell Crowe is coming in and out of consciousness and the afterlife, like it is so believable the way we see him in Elysium, and then it cuts to him in the Colosseum, and this man is just gone. He is standing there, empty eyes, mouth slightly agape, and you see him like shake it off and like kind of have to like reassess his surroundings and like remember where he was. And he just does that so naturally, and it feels so real.
Yeah. No, I think the face acting is really on point in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
To reinforce what you've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much to add beyond what you've already said, which does feel like a little bit of a lame cop out on my part, but I think you nailed everything. They do a lot with a little.
Yeah.
In a movie that does a lot with a lot.
Yeah. And even like, I think some of the monologues in this movie are a bit like, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't feel community theater. I feel like that's a bit too low.
Okay.
But
sure.
It's kind of that vibe where it's like they're saying a lot of really obvious things at times. Like he's talking about like, I will have my vengeance in this life and the next. Like, yes, that line goes hard, but I think that line goes hard only because of Russell Crowe in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
and like the energy he carries and the momentum you're riding and how bought into his revenge arc you are. And it's this big moment where he's like, oh fuck, mask off. It's fucking Russell Crowe. I think just these speeches that, they're a bit more like cookie cutter than they're not, there's not a whole lot of depth to them. They're just delivered with such weight, and it just makes it actually land.
They have more gravitas than density, more mass than density.
Yes, sure. That's one way to put it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. You said community theater, and I was imagining them acting to the back of the room. And I don't think that's exactly what you meant, but it's kind of funny. No, because like it's a big movie. They do everything big, except the best acting parts of the movie are the really small parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's the facial tics and stuff like that.
You really feel as if these characters are going through this intense emotional revenge plot.
Yeah, I feel that from Russell Crowe. I just feel incest from Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, you weren't a fan.
No.
You weren't a fan of the incest.
No, yeah, incest makes me feel all kinds of uncomfortable. Yeah, I get it. You were saying during the thing, it's what happened, it's what they did, it was common. I'm like, yeah, but like, it's supposed to be a movie. It's like, yeah, and in this movie, the characters have incest. It's like, I get it. It's just not, like, I'd rather you see the guy cut the guy's head off and fuck the stump than have a brother and sister fuck on screen. Also,
wow,
they weren't into it.
Everyone?
They weren't into it. The lady wasn't into it.
Right.
It's not like Game of Thrones is icky, but they're into it. So, and that the actors aren't actually related. That's the other part that feels icky. It's like incest rape, or like, I'm gonna kill your son unless you give me a son. Like, okay, Jesus, that's a lot of pressure. I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know. It just every time, and he was so creepy about it. He has no riz. He
don't got no riz. Well, riz wasn't invented until 2020.
I know, but it's like he's got no charm. He's got no swagger. He's a little whiny crybaby man who's like, I know what the people want, and the people don't want their voice to be heard. And I want my sister, and give me my bottle, and I want to fuck her. And she doesn't want to fuck me, but I'm going to fuck her. Yeah, like, dude, you can have any woman in the Empire. Why are you trying to fuck your sister? It's like, he just has so much, like...
He's pure blood.
Yeah, he just has so much... He's so upset. He's like, just all the time. It's like, dude, you're like the one person in the Empire who's probably doing okay.
Yeah, he's a bit petulant, huh?
He's a little petulant bitch. I actually, I like this person better than I did the guy who played the Joker. Sorry, let me rephrase that.
What?
Listen, let me rephrase. I said that wrong. I know that both of them are Joaquin Phoenix. I like this performance better than the Arthur Fleck performance, is what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Because I hated the Joker.
Wow, that's high praise, because, you make Arthur Fleck your entire personality.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You're always talking about how we live in a society.
Stop gaslighting me!
I'm not gaslighting anyone.
Okay.
I told you, gaslighting's not real.
Camera angles! Go ahead.
Just a little thing. I really liked how during the fights, when we were shown it in a wide, it was filmed kind of at like a downward angle. Like we were watching it from the crowd. And I really liked that.
Yeah, I like that too.
That was fun.
Yeah, just a little thing.
Yeah. You know what else is a little thing, though?
The fire.
I mean, if that's what you want to talk about, hit me with it. Tell me about this fire.
Dude, it was on fire. The whole fucking movie was on fire.
What do you mean by that? Describe for the audience, because I'm not sure that they'll understand by that sentence.
Like candles, right?
Okay, I know candles.
All the candles were on fire.
That is what you do with candles?
Not lit. Like a normal, like the whole thing was, the desk was on. Remember when we were watching the movie and the guy walked in the tent and I'm like, that tent is on fire. He threw a fire stick. They had the fire arrows. Everything was on fire. All the time was on fire. Everywhere.
I know. Those dumbasses hadn't figured out electricity yet.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm just saying, it looked like some of the movie was on fire at some point.
What part do you think would be the most interesting scene if all of the characters spontaneously combusted?
No, the one where he's trying to fuck his sister. And then she kisses him and leaves.
God. That's the one you want to see when they spontaneously combust?
Yeah, that's the one I want the Molotov on, yeah.
I mean, I get it, CJ, but you don't gotta go airing about how you want to see them bust in an incest scene.
Stop it. I don't even joke about incest.
Wow. Can't joke about incest. Can't joke about... What was something else we can't joke about? Wow.
Cut that out. Bleep that.
All right. I'll bleep it. And I'm going to say, guys, CJ said the worst slur you can imagine.
Jesus Christ. Stop trying to get me killed. Yeah, I don't know, man. The only other thing I wanted to mention that specifically stood out to me was that pick time when the guy's got his arms through the gate and he's giving the Russell Crowe thumbs up, double thumbs up.
Oh, yeah, the guy way in the background.
Woo!
There's just an extra going big old thumbs up, cheesing it for the camera.
It was great. Guy ate the fucking scenery on that one.
Mm-hmm. Something I wanted to talk about, though, is so you did not know Joaquin Phoenix was in this movie going in.
Nope.
And the movie started, that character came on screen, and I was waiting for you to go, oh, Joaquin Phoenix is in this. And you said nothing. And then a minute goes by, and you still said nothing. And I said, CJ, do you recognize who that is? He said, no. And you did not recognize Joaquin Phoenix for like 30 minutes until I let it slip that it was Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I thought you were gaslighting me, telling me that it was somebody important. I caught Richard Harris. And
Yeah,
you were like, that's
Dumbledore.
not Richard Harris. And then I said, is that Dumbledore? And you're like, no, that's not Dumbledore. I said the first one. You're like, no, I don't think so. And then you were like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Listen, I don't know why I didn't recognize him. I said I kept looking for the hair lip and didn't see it.
See, I don't get it because Joaquin Phoenix is like one of, I don't know. That it just blew me away.
Maybe I
couldn't
just don't
recognize
watch
him.
a lot of Joaquin. Maybe I just don't
No?
like he's not visually on deck. I'm trying to think of the movies.
You've seen Joker?
I did. Yeah, I didn't love that movie.
Walk the Line?
No.
Really? You seen Her?
No.
You seen Signs?
No.
You seen The Master?
No.
Napoleon?
No.
Oh my gosh. The Village? He was in The Village?
No. Oh, he was the voice of the bear in Brother Bear. I saw that.
He was in Brother Bear. Wow. You really haven't seen... You see Inherent Vice?
No.
Wow. This is interesting.
I rented Hotel Rwanda, but I didn't watch it.
Wow. Why not?
I didn't get a chance to.
Really? That's it? That's the only reason why? Not because you hate historical movies like this one?
Oh my god, no.
Hmm.
I guess that's... I mean, I saw Brother Bear.
Someone else related to this movie is the director, though. Ridley Scott. CJ, how do you feel about Ridley Scott movies?
Now I have to look up Ridley Scott movies. I didn't like Blade Runner.
Right.
But he didn't have Final Cut.
Right. You have not watched the director's cut.
Yeah, he didn't have the Final Cut rights for that movie. So I'll give him a pass. I'm going to look up a list of other movies from Ridley Scott.
Okay.
Alien. Never saw Alien.
One of the all-time greats.
Thelma and Louise, I think I saw.
Okay.
I never saw G.I. Jane. Keep my name out of your fucking mouth. Gladiator, I saw.
Uh-huh. Black Hawk Down?
I have a very bad relationship with that movie. No, I've never seen it.
Okay.
I saw the first 5 minutes of American Gangster.
Okay. Not Kingdom of Heaven?
No, I didn't see Robin Hood.
I'm guessing no Prometheus then?
No, I didn't see Exodus, Gods and Kings. I heard it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I saw The Martian.
Yeah.
I loved The Martian.
Okay. Okay, and The Martian's very good.
The Martian is very good. I never saw any of these other ones.
You didn't see Alien Covenant, All the Money in the World, The Last Duel, House of Gucci, Napoleon?
No.
So I heard a phrase somewhere recently, I don't remember where someone said, in regards to post like 2000 Ridley Scott, especially 2010s and on, every time Ridley Scott makes a movie, God flips a coin and holds his breath.
Huh.
He has a lot of hit or misses here. Gladiator 2, we haven't seen it yet. I do want to talk about Gladiator 2 in a moment, but it's getting some positive buzz. Napoleon, I think people generally liked, but was a bit divisive. House of Gucci, I remember people really not liking.
Okay.
The Last Duel, I loved The Last Duel. I think The Last Duel is terrific. All the Money in the World, I'm pretty sure that was a stinker. Alien Covenant, people were pretty iffy on. The Martian loved. Exodus, Gods and Kings, like you said, big stinker. So he's real hit or miss. But granted, he is almost like 90 now. He's 86 right now.
He's 86?
Yeah, and he's making Gladiator 2.
Wow.
Crazy.
He was born in 1937. Okay.
That's nuts.
Wow.
So I think that, I like Ridley Scott movies. Alien is one of my all-time favorites. And I think that this is, in all of Ridley Scott, I'd say this is, of the ones I've seen, one of the, ooh, you know what? I think I might like The Last Duel more than Gladiator.
You don't like Alien more than Gladiator?
Oh, I do. Alien's the best. Alien is the best Ridley Scott movie. Easily. Another thing that I bet you have a favorite of. Did you have a favorite battle in the movie?
The one where they all worked together to beat the in the reenactment of Carthage. I thought that was really, really good.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, he's commanding them into their flanks and ranks and whatnot. That was great.
Yeah, I really like that.
That was really fun to see Russell Crowe in action. Get to see Maximus actually leading,
Yeah, I agree. I really liked that. What about you? What was your favorite battle?
I do really like the one where he and Jimon Hansu are chained together.
Yes.
That one's really fun, especially seeing him like focus on using a shield for a while and then seeing them like team up and like Jimon Hansu like hiding behind him while he's in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I think that one, and then I also really like the Tigris of Gaul one. The one with like the guy, and he has like the mask with the one tear, and like the blood is coming out of the eyes later.
Yeah.
And the tigers are there. It just feels like, I don't know, that was a really fun one, especially going into it especially with how it ends, with him sparing him. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought all the battles were really well done.
Yeah.
I've been kind of chewing on something this whole conversation, trying to like find something like how to verbalize this feeling that I have about it. And I just kind of came up with it while we were talking. Part of what feels not perfect or kind of whatever to this movie to me is sort of fake stakes. The Gladiator arena is ultimate game of life and death, right? People go in, people die. We who are about to die salute you, right? Like, going in, you're going to die. Except we know he's not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
At least until the end. We know that most of the people that we see are not going to die, right? Like, of the people that we showed that had faces and lines, none of them died in the Colosseum. Joaquin Phoenix did, and Russell Crowe did. Everyone else was either nameless or speechless, right? So it's
you're forgetting about Proximo and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, they didn't die in the Colosseum.
Okay.
They had big glorious deaths to, whatever, with purpose. You know what I mean? So it's like, it just feels like it takes some of the venom out of the Cobra. And,
I was saying the same thing about the Batman. I tuned in. I'm like, I don't think the Batman's going to die. There's no stakes because I know the Batman's going to live.
He's not going into a Gladiator game where you die every time. When two people go up against each other in the Gladiator game in the Colosseum, someone dies every time. Batman never kills anybody.
Right, but he might get killed.
Yeah, and again, that is part of it. Like, you don't expect Batman to die. So, like, if he's in trouble, he gets out of it somehow. That does take some of the air out of it.
Okay.
Like, if he's suspended over a vat of acid upside down, and it's not the last scene in the third movie, and there's another hour and a half to go, that he either is not getting put into acid, or he gets cut down. Right,
but I mean, I guess what I want to ask is, like, could this be said about, like, really pretty much any movie, though, with a main character? Like, most movies don't kill their main character.
You are, I feel like, reducing what I'm saying a lot.
Okay.
Because the point of the movie is he's going into a death chamber every 10 minutes.
Okay. So, I gotcha.
Like, when Harry Met Sally, they don't go into a stall where one of them is gonna die every couple minutes.
I gotcha. So what I'm hearing is that you would not like the Jason Statham death race movies. Because
No, because those are also no stakes. Because he can't die.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like Squid Game, right? They die all the time. There's so much death. People die.
Well, not the main guy. I know he's not going to die.
Not the main guy. He didn't die. I knew he wasn't going to die, but he did lose at one point, and he was supposed to die.
And then he didn't.
Again, fake stakes.
Okay.
So I don't like death being a constant presence unless they're willing to use it.
Okay.
Because there's no consequence. Like, he could do anything. He's bulletproof.
So I guess my question is, what would fix it a bit more for you? Like if Jimon Hansu got killed in a Gladiator fight, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or maybe if there were other characters who got off then?
Yeah, like nobody that you have a connection with dies in the Coliseum.
Fair enough. Whoa. You didn't have a connection with Tigris of Gaul?
He doesn't have a line.
I bet he does have a line.
Do we even know who the actor is? That could just be a stunt double the whole time.
Tigris of Gaul? Are you asking me who the actor who plays Tigris of Gaul is?
As you vamp so you can pull up
it is Sven Ole Thorsen, my favorite Danish former actor, stuntman, bodybuilder, and strongman competitor who won Denmark's Strongest Man in 1983.
All right.
I can't believe you would ask that. Can't believe.
All right.
And he's also in Dodgeball.
I feel like people can hear me and understand what I'm saying and not be like, oh, well, CJ just doesn't like any time where death is a... No, it's like, if you're going in... it's like a coin flip. How many times can you roll heads before you don't feel like it's believable anymore?
Hold on. When you flip a coin, you roll the quarter?
All right, we're moving on.
Okay. Something that I wanted to just touch on briefly, and it's one of my favorite fun facts about this movie, is there's, when talking about this movie with its historical accuracy, there's a lot that's fictionalized, a lot that is anachronistic, and there were several historians who were working on the picture who either had serious qualms with it or asked to have their name removed from being credited because of stuff.
Okay.
Something that was originally planned to be in the movie, though, that they removed because they thought that audiences wouldn't believe it, even though it was a real thing, is they were going to have like billboards and endorsements featuring the gladiators in this movie.
Okay.
Do you feel if you saw that, you'd be like, what the fuck? They have billboards? That's so weird. That's stupid.
I would be like, what the fuck? And then I'd probably look it up and be like, oh, I guess they really had that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's nuts that they had like billboards and shit like that.
It's this kind of the similar thing, right? Like they invented the lighter before they invented the match.
They did?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
I'm going to look it up. Yes. Lighters were invented before the match. The first lighter
crazy.
Was invented in 1823, and the first match was created in 1826.
Wow. That's really impressive.
Yeah, so, it's like, oh, well, we're going to show somebody using a lighter. It's like, people think of lighters as coming later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. We only got a few things left to talk about. Got a couple questions and one random thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, just as a whole, how do you feel this is as a revenge movie compared to other revenge movies? How do you think this holds up?
Okay, so like the peak of revenge for me is like John Wick.
That is a good revenge movie.
It's a really good revenge movie. It is someone going ape shit over a dog. Which when I heard the premise, like the back of the napkin premise, I was like, oh, this is going to be stupid. No, those guys deserve to die for what they did to that fucking dog. They fucking deserve it. They killed this fucking puppy. I was so crushed when that happened. Anyway, like things like that. I get that they killed his wife and his son, and that they tortured them and burned them and hung them, and it was terrible. And we see him hug the feet, right? It's the same shot in Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, I almost brought that up while we were watching Gladiator.
Yeah.
And said how much it reminded me of that particular scene in that movie. Oh, what a good moment.
So anyway, it's pretty good. He doesn't feel fueled by revenge. For a while, he's kind of like, I'm not going to kill because you tell me to. I'm tired of killing. And then it's like, I'm going to win my freedom. He feels motivated by so many other things other than revenge. he doesn't feel like Batman, I am vengeance. You know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't have that edge to him for like a good chunk of the movie. And then it's like, I'm going to get revenge in this life or the next. It's like, yeah, all right. I get it. Sure.
What I'm hearing is pretty solid, not the best.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
You?
I think it's one of the best.
Okay.
Yeah, John Wick is up there. There's a lot of ones that we could just sit here and name. I think that John Wick is actually a really good comparison because the revenge is the focus. These guys are seeking revenge against the one man who wronged them, and they are just killing everyone who it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it does a good job of that while, this is a long movie. And like I said, it drags a little bit, I would say, in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, I'd say it's a relatively lean movie otherwise, considering its length. Like, in my opinion, I feel like really the basics are there. You got your setup and motivation, and then you've got his quest and like the planning for his revenge and him just trying to get through everything in his path to the revenge. And then you've also got a side plot that makes us hate the dude that he wants to get revenge against more, which is the whole incest side plot.
Right.
And I just feel like it does all it needs to. It doesn't overcomplicate it. It delivers on the crowd aspects where you're just gonna be like, fuck yeah, cut that dude's tits off,
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. I mean, we chanted that maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the movie.
You certainly did.
I mean, of course, I chanted that in Renaissance Man.
Yes, you did.
So
Say Crispin's Day. Cut his tits off.
So with all that being said, CJ, do you think you're going to go see Gladiator 2?
I can only imagine a world where they fuck it up. I don't think I will until I hear other people tell me, like, bang the table.
Okay.
You?
I plan to see it. I like the commercials I've seen. Not that I'm someone who's going to sit here and be like, oh, it's going to be good just based on the trailers, but the trailers have sold me on it enough to entertain going to see it. Mm-hmm. And I really like this one. And, Ridley Scott, it's a coin toss, but I'm willing to put some money on that coin toss.
Well, I am very interested to hear what you have to say about the sequel, and then maybe I'll go see it.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, this was not the first time that they actually planned on doing a sequel. As I understand it, there was an original sequel planned.
Yes.
And you were going to tell me about it because you mentioned it several times.
Yes. Okay. CJ, are you ready to hear what the original plans were? Okay. So, originally, more or less, DreamWorks really wanted to make a sequel. And there were a bunch of ideas being kind of clashed around. Russell Crowe, he was executive producer, I believe. And he's very involved with it, being the star. He kind of favored the fantasy element in bringing Maximus back to life, where the studio wanted to focus on Lucius being like the son of Maximus and Connie Nielsen.
Was he?
Not in this movie. I do think that has been retconned for Gladiator 2. I think that is something that made it into the actual Gladiator 2.
Okay.
Because I do think Gladiator 2, Paul Mescal, I do believe he plays a grown-up Lucius.
Okay.
So at this time, a guy named Nick Cave, he's a writer, actor, but most notably an Australian rock and roll musician leading the band, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. He was commissioned to write a script. And here is what it was. It had the working title of Christ Killer.
Okay.
It was described as deity versus humanity. The story involved Maximus in purgatory, and he's resurrected as an immortal warrior for the Roman gods. He gets sent back to Earth and is tasked with ending Christianity by killing Jesus and his disciples. Since Christianity is draining all of the power from ancient pagan gods. And during this mission, Maximus is tricked into murdering his own son. He's cursed to live forever. And then he fights in the Crusades, World War II, and the Vietnam War. And it ends with him working in the present-day Pentagon.
What?
How would you have liked that to have been made?
There's a good reason that movie didn't get made.
And now, this story has been around a while about this nearly made movie. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure how much I buy into the story. Because this movie itself, Gladiator 1, takes place after Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to send him back to
We have to go back.
Right. So he has to go back and kill Jesus and the disciples before this movie. So then it turns into like a whole ass time travel alternate timeline can of worms. I don't know if that's I don't know. I just trust the veracity of this.
I had an idea for a sci-fi story the other day.
Okay.
You're sitting in your room one night and you hear yourself outside the door. There's an older version of you and a younger version of you. And the older version says, "This is what happens to us if you don't go to college." And then they vanish. And then you're like sitting in bed like, damn, I'm the awful future that gets shown to younger me to improve their life. That's my life.
Wow.
That's what that script sounds like. We show
It's the
other
cautionary
scripts
tale.
we show other scripts that so they don't turn into that.
That's
Wow.
hilarious.
What a pile. All right. All right, ask me. Ask
All
me
right.
the question.
We've got one important question, though. More important than the titular question. CJ, could you have done a Gladiator?
I could not.
Whoa.
One, the guy puts dirt all over his hands every time. Can't do it. It made my skin crawl every time I saw him do it. I don't know how to use a sword.
Okay.
Slavery, no good.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't look good in leather like that. Leather armor.
Okay.
Metal armor. So yeah, I'm gonna go with no ski. No caveat.
I like how part of your reasoning is I just wouldn't look good while doing it.
Well, it's part of it.
I respect it. I respect it.
No caveat.
I respect it.
I couldn't do somebody else's part either.
Fair enough. You couldn't do Lucius's part?
I could probably I could do Proximo.
Okay. Just training.
Just buying slaves and dying.
Wow.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. CJ thinks goodbye slaves.
Oh my god. You're the worst.
CJ, is the film okie dokie?
It's okie dokie.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I think
Yeah.
this is it won Best Picture. It'd be kind of crazy if, I don't know. I think the odds of one of us not liking it, sometimes that happens. The odds of two of us not liking a Best Picture winner, I feel like the odds are a bit low.
Yeah, pretty low, but not impossible.
Not impossible. Maybe one day we'll find a Best
There
Picture
are
winner.
some Best Pictures that I did not like.
Like No Country for Old Men. You hated that one.
Shut up, dude. God damn, you're like a fire hose of misinformation tonight.
Come on, CJ. Now you're spreading misinformation. I'm a fire hose of misinformation 24/7.
Okay, that's fair. Now on to the Rec Room.
Yes, CJ, what have you got to recommend for us today?
I recommend everybody go to Pittsburgh and eat at Primanti Bros. I understand.
Yes.
I understand that they may have other locations. Don't get takeaway. That's not how it works. Go sit down and eat it. It helps if it's really cold outside, like it was the last time I was there. It was like 30 or like 20 degrees the one night. Yeah.
That's like I think that's the most niche rec we've had so far. I'm sure we'll get more niche, but I liked it. I like it.
Yeah, I also have another recommendation.
You hit me with it.
For a long time, I would brush my teeth and they would hurt, and I didn't know why. 'Cause I have sensitive teeth. I highly recommend Sensodyne toothpaste.
Okay.
That's it. Those are my recs. Primanti
Sensodyne.
Bros and Sensodyne toothpaste.
Wow. No media?
I thought that when you brushed your teeth, it was supposed to hurt.
Really?
Until I was like 28.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you got that sorted out.
Yeah, Sensodyne all the way.
Wow. All right. Well, for my recs, I wanted to first circle back on a recommendation I made 2 episodes ago just to reaffirm, guys, the Penguin TV show, it's really freaking good. Season 1 just wrapped
Are you
up.
pounding the table? Oh, okay. This is not something you can just do.
I know.
You're really pounding
I
the
know.
table? All right. That's enough for me. I'm going to watch an episode.
All right, good. I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are. It's really good. The closest thing I can compare it to is it feels like The Batman plus Sopranos.
Okay.
It feels a lot like The Sopranos while not feeling like a ripoff of The Sopranos. It just kind of has the same kind of vibe. And, a lot of that is it takes place in Gotham, which is heavily inspired by New York and New Jersey. And Oswald Cobb himself is an Italian American. It has a lot of, Tony Soprano-isms, but it's very good. Very good. If you liked the Batman, you need to watch The Penguin. Like it is really a terrific follow-up that I'm sure is going to be relevant in future The Batman installments.
Sorry, I wanted to ask you. You and I had talked about Agatha all along.
Yes.
This may not be your other recommendation, but do you recommend Agatha all along?
I did enjoy Agatha all along. I wasn't going to include it as one of my
Sure, but just as us talking.
Yeah, as us talking. Yeah, I think Agatha all along is one of the better Marvel shows. I should say MCU shows. Mm-hmm. I have not watched all of the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the better MCU shows. I would put it up there with WandaVision and Loki. The thing that I think Agatha all along has going for it is the ending. They absolutely stick the landing in a way that the other MCU shows have not.
Okay.
Even WandaVision, I felt, had a bit of a weak ending.
Yeah.
I think Loki had the strongest ending of them all, but I think Agatha has a really good ending that not only wraps up the story really nicely, but it also does a really good job of recontextualizing the show and making you want to watch it again.
Right.
Like, I do not want this to be the last time I watched Agatha all along. I want to rewatch it at some point in the future with all the knowledge I have upon finishing it. And I think it's, is it that level of quality all the way throughout? No. It has some high points. It has a lot of moments, though, that are just like, just kind of more standard MCU affair. But I would say if you're a fan of the MCU, if you liked WandaVision, I would say for sure check it out. It's really fun, and I think the ending really makes it worth it.
Awesome.
All right.
What was your actual other recommendation?
I have two other quick recommendations. They're both movies. The first is a movie that Jade and I watched just 2 days ago. This is a movie I had seen before that we were watching since she had never seen someone from this writer-director, but we watched The Witch, or The Vavitch as it's stylized with 2 V's, which is a 2015 movie starring a young Anya Taylor-Joy. It is written and directed by Robert Eggers, who is just a force to be reckoned with in the horror space right now. And this movie it might have been his directorial debut if he didn't, maybe he had some smaller things before that. But he also did The Lighthouse and The Northman, and he has Nosferatu coming up. And it's just a really well-told period piece that invokes a really strong sense of dread, and it's engaging, and it made for a really good rewatch. And anyone who's into kind of, again, however you feel about this term, you know what I mean when I say it, the elevated horror trend. If you're a fan of those types of movies, I think The Vavitch is required reading. And then the other movie I wanted to recommend is a movie that is just came out and is coming out. Jade and I went and saw it a couple weeks ago, but Anora, which I really liked. Jade thought was just pretty good, but I feel like this is going to be up for Best Picture at the upcoming Oscars. I guess by the time this releases, we'll have found out whether it was nominated and how it did. I don't think it's the best movie this year, but I do think it's one of the better ones. It stars Mikey Madison, who is famously one of the Manson cult members in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Did you see that movie?
I did, yeah.
So she is the one who Brad Pitt throws the thing at the end.
Yeah, okay.
So stars her. She is a sex worker from Brooklyn and more or less gets a chance at a Cinderella story with the son of Russian oligarchs. And it's just a whirlwind of events that unfold, and it's surprisingly really funny while also just being a pretty simple story and just following these characters through a crazy series of events that still feels really grounded. It's like absolutely absurd shit is happening, but it still feels so grounded. And because of that, in a way, kind of horrifying at the same time. It reminded me a bit of like a comedy version of Good Time and Uncut Gems, which are both Safdie brothers films.
Okay.
And in that, I mean, like, it's just a crazy one night series of events that just, you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? But yeah, those are my recs. Again, that was The Penguin, the TV show, The Vavitch, and Anora. CJ, what were your recs?
Primanti Bros and Sensodyne toothpaste.
Awesome. I love it. Those are my favorite recs you've done so far.
Thanks. All right. So
yes,
you may be thinking now that our blood pact has ended, and I got my 2 movies, and you got your 2 movies, that things should be going back to normal, right?
Yes, one might think that.
But you're wrong.
You're wrong. Should I explain this, or would you like to, CJ?
Go ahead.
Ladies, gentlemen, NBs, we're going to have our first ever guest on the next episode.
Technically, our first full episode guest.
First full episode guest. Yes, Dayman was a very brief guest in our Renaissance Man episode to help prove a very useful point.
It wasn't that useful.
But we have our first guest who will join us for the entirety of the episode. And in okie dokie tradition, this guest is the one choosing the movie for us to watch.
Okay.
And CJ, you and I have no clue what movie was.
No, I don't know what the movie is.
Neither do I. So this person, they recorded a message for us.
Okay.
To tell us first who the guest is, who they are, and what we will be watching. CJ.
Let's hear it.
All right, here we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jade Pasadena, friend of the show and official test listener of the show. I know you guys just finished watching Gladiator, so the next time on the film is Okie Dokie, I will be joining you guys to continue our duology of valorous veterans seeking vengeance, vanquishing villains violating veracity, and we will be watching V for Vendetta.
All right.
Wow.
I don't know a single thing about that movie.
Really?
I don't know a damn thing about the movie. Nope.
Oh, this is exciting. Funny enough, I've never seen this movie, but the same roommate who I said loved Gladiator also loved V for Vendetta and had it on a lot. So I've seen a couple scenes, but I have not seen this movie as a whole.
I know literally nothing about this movie except the title.
Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it, everyone. Next time, Jade will be joining us for V for Vendetta.
Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about lots of things that she said off the podcast, give her a chance to defend herself. But until that time, remember to like and support the podcast, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. If you only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. Shout out to Bomani Jones at Wave Sports and Entertainment for the quip. And yeah, as always, I've been CJ.
I have been. Oh, wait. Join. We have the Okie Dokie Discord server in the show notes. Be sure to join that. Be sure to tell friends about the show.
Yeah,
I think that's
we grow by the week.
Yes, and you can email us. The film is okiedokie@gmail.com.
We will read it. Someone will read it.
Eventually.
Alrighty. I've been CJ.
I have been Tommy.
And this is The Film is Okie Dokie. And we're out. We're done.
Bye.
Goodbye.